welcome to myGSPN Live. You're here with your host, Robert Brown.
And Jose Rodriguez.
Very exciting show for you, but before we begin, we'd like to thank our host, Garden Grocer, for sponsoring us again. If you're in the Orlando Disney Resort area, you want to save time, save money, save energy, spend more time with your kids and family, go to www.gardengrocer.com and place an order for, your food, snacks, beverages. We'll have them all delivered to you at the time of your arrival to your resort. Getting into today, it is the Friday show, so, we'll jump right into it with softball rankings, touching on the state of Florida to start with.
And we're going to jump right in, like you said. So, we're going to start right off with our top 10 in Florida for softball. And it doesn't have to be one full area or one full region or even the whole state entirely, No region, no district, anything. So pretty much we're going to start off with Oak Cliff, which is 23-2. Then Coral Springs Charter, which is also 23-2.
Yes.
Now Wellington, number 3, sits with 22 in record.
And Bartow at 22-2 with that same exact record.
Now Newsom and Jupiter, I was debating, because they're both really good. Jupiter has a better record than Newsom, but it's sitting right behind Newsom at number 5 and number 6 spot. But again, both teams are great. I'm talking about top 10 rankings for the entire state. Yep. This is not just Central Florida or West Coast or East Coast.
This is the whole state of Florida.
The whole state of Florida. And we have, to jump right onto number 8, we have Eastridge.
Local area exactly. Team here, yes.
And
I
your
went
former school, exactly.
It is. So, to see them on there, to see, them, South Lake, Lake Mineola, Wekiva, any local area school, really, especially ones that we support so much.
Of course.
To see them on a list this big is a very huge and important thing. We like to take our look around the country now, moving on from our softball top 10 in Florida and talk about them from around the country at some other states.
Now we're going to start right off in Arizona.
Yep.
Now, the first one is Hamilton. They're 28-1. Now, this team is so good. I'm talking about power. Exactly, perfect word. This team is combined for 50 home runs in a full season. And they have one player right now, which I couldn't get the correct information on her name, and she has already right now 15 home runs for her team, which is a lot. Now, the other one, the number 2, is Cibola, which is 28-1 as well.
Same record.
And they have a freshman right now named Breezy Hayward, and she's batting video game numbers. She's batting 527 with 43 RBIs for her club.
It is so hard not to make some corny joke about her name and the style of play that she has right now, hitting the way she is, all these RBIs, all these batting. She's swinging a bat. It's like she's seeing a melon out there. Every time it's coming, she's...
A watermelon, not a melon.
She's just hitting it, and it's making contact almost every single time she steps up.
I agree 100%. Now, moving up to the third spot, which is South Point. They're 27-1, but they've tied 4 games in the season. Now, a lot of good stuff about South Point, which makes them a number 3, but they could have contended for the 2-1 spot, if they would have just won one more game. Now, Phoenix O'Connor is 26-1, also tied 3 games, and they have scored 98 runs in 5 consecutive games that they played in that region.
That is crazy. That is absolutely that's power. Not only power, that's team baseball. That you're probably playing a perfect offensive game every single time you step out there.
Of course.
For the past 5 games, at least, to score this many runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's something incredible. That's something you don't even see in the major leagues in baseball or even in college softball as well. Which I'm pretty sure most of these girls are being looked at by a lot of colleges right now. Putting numbers like this. So moving on to the fifth spot, which is Benson. They're 26-1, and Benson is in the 2A region for Arizona, and
it's their region.
That is their region, pretty much. It's pretty much called the Benson region. It's not even called 2A anymore. This team over the past few years has dominated that area, and again this year, doing what they do best and winning tons of games.
Now let's drop down to number 9, Vail Singa. I hope we're pronouncing that right. They have not lost a game at home the entire year.
That's crazy.
I actually went through a 25-game win streak at home my junior and senior year, and one thing we always talked about was protecting home court, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game in the whole season, and all I can do is smile about it because I'm just imagining the coach's face every time the schedule turns over and says, "Oh, we're playing at home."
You're already up.
Exactly.
Like, at least in basketball, we were up 10 points as soon as the game started if you were coming home. And I mean, baseball, softball is a little different, but if you're coming to their place, it seems like you're already 1 or 2, 3 runs down.
Yeah, and it's a mind game as well.
Behind. Yeah,
it's a mind game, they say baseball is 90% mental. I mean, I'm assuming softball is the same thing as well. Pretty much, similar sports. But again, if you're not losing, at your home field,
that's a win.
The team already coming in is already feeling, defeated.
Sure.
So now moving into the last one, which is Canyon del Oro. It's a pretty good story here. They have a senior by the name of Michaela Santa Cruz, and she has 13 wins. Now, not only that, she's committed to Arizona State, and this girl, freshman through senior year, has pitched her whole arm out, giving her best for her team, and it shows it. Out of the 22, 23 wins that Canyon del Oro has right now, she has 13 of them and has only lost 3 times, so it's pretty awesome.
She's up there being their ace, and they're having a great year, ranked 10th right now in the state. We keep our looking around the country, and we move over to California a little bit. And start us off there with, let's drop down to the number 14. The number 1, 2, and 3, just to let you know their records, we have 24-2 for number 1. Orange Lutheran is 23-2. Los Altos is 24-2. But we want to start with San Marcos.
And San Marcos, another great team, 22-2. They had an 11-game win streak and outscore all of their opponents 183-43 this year, constantly. With or without the 11-game winning streak, they were still outscoring their opponents by a vast majority of, runs.
That's why I wanted to talk about them. They are, kind of like the team we showed earlier who had, 98 runs in 5 games. This is a team with, they have the bats to do something very similar. They can go on a run, the way they're outscoring people, and, they can hit homers, they could triples, doubles, RBIs left and right, where they're playing great team base or softball. They're getting other people involved.
Yeah.
The whole team can get up in the inning and go through an entire rotation, I feel like, the way they're swinging the bats.
Yeah, the whole lineup usually bats around about 4 times in an inning if you're scoring, 183 to 43 past your opponent. So it's pretty good stuff. Now, moving all the way to number 8, which is Clovis. They're also they're at 24-2, and they went a full week without losing a game.
Yeah.
That's, pretty good softball right there.
And they're playing a couple games in a week, too.
Yeah,
so.
And, in the regular season, they're also not as good as St. Marcos, but they outscore their opponents as well, 163-45 runs, which is significantly a lot.
Definitely. Also, we skipped over number 5, not to talk about them too much, but Chino Hills has been getting a lot of news and pump lately because of some of the older guys that used to play basketball there.
Yeah.
The Ball brothers were there, but Chino Hills is on our list at number 5 at 25-4. Another huge school in the basketball side of things in California and football as well is Modern Day.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like a Mount Verde IMG where their name is synonymous with greatness when it comes to sports. And as you see, they're number 9 on our softball listing.
So it's pretty much, it's a given. When you're talking about schools like this, like you mentioned, Mount Verde, IMGs of the world, these schools are just, known all over the place to be great at sports.
Yeah,
because
not just one sport. Like Oak Hill is kind of a one-dimensional.
Like a basketball type.
Yeah, they are, arguably the best high school basketball program ever.
Yeah.
Mount Verde could be, but Mount Verde, IMG, St. Thomas Aquinas, Modern Day, these are total sports schools. You can go there and become a professional at anything.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. And being them at number 9, they could obviously be a little higher.
They could.
But the competition this year for California softball teams all over the states is huge. And not only that, California, similar like Florida, is a huge state as well. Very long, a lot of districts, a lot of schools, and a lot of competition. And most of all, a lot of talent within these regions.
You want to talk about another state that's just as big as those two?
Texas, man.
We have Texas. We have the top 10 for them.
The third one that we're going to talk about today is going to be Texas. Now, starting off, that's a no giving. It's like talking about Mount Verde when you're here in Florida, and that's Katy for the ladies softball team. They're 32-1, only lost 1 game this full season. The second one is Rich Point, which also has a really good record. It's 31-1 and tied 1 game as well. Now, third place is Keller. I mean, it could either be Barbers Hill or Keller, but they both have the same record at 28-3.
Yes.
But so far, Keller has been playing better baseball, and the rankings show that their winning percentage is a little bit slightly higher than Barbers Hill right now.
And Angelton at number 5 is also 28-3. So, we got a couple schools clumped together right there who, if someone else's rankings were a little bit different. You can't really argue. The talent is there for all three teams, and the records reflect that.
Yeah. I mean, one team that is not really ranked as high, pretty much with Texas, is our number 10, which is Permian Odessa. Now, Permian Odessa has not played as many games, obviously, as a Katy.
That kind of affects them in these rankings a little bit.
Of course,
yeah.
Their record is still really good, and their
19-2.
winning percentage is also very high, having a 19-2 record, as you mentioned. But with that being said, them not playing enough games in their division compared to Katy or the Barber Hills or of Texas, it's going to be a little difficult for them to be ranked a little higher in these rankings.
Definitely. Well, we want to take a quick word from our sponsor, so hope you enjoy this short video.
All right.
Welcome back. It's Friday, as you all know, so we would like to get into our favorite segment here, at least his, Rob's Corner. Clearly I play basketball, as everyone should know by now, but, let's start with basketball. NBA playoffs happened last night. There will also be some games that will be happening today.
Yeah.
Some game 2s, some game 3s in the Western Conference, but let's jump into the East. We have the 76ers lost to a shorthanded Celtics again.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Boston's up 2-0 in the series, and the way it's looking, I think they'll come out of Philly with these next two games.
I smell an upset.
I do. I can't say it's an upset because Boston does have the higher seed. Kyrie, they did have most of the year to help them get there. They lost him later, but
not only that, I think it's a young club for the Sixers.
It is.
And even if they lose, I still think they're winning something, which is experience.
They're getting in the second round of the playoffs. Ben Simmons is a rookie. Joel Embiid finally played a good amount of the season. Markelle Fultz barely played.
Yeah, and the games that he played were amazing.
Yeah.
Even better than what they expected. So, again, even if they lose early in the round, or if they do, manage to make a great series out of these games,
they're building something for the future.
Of course they are.
But to talk about the game a little bit, Joel Embiid had 20 points, 14 rebounds. He did his thing like he's supposed to. J.J. Redick, their leader, their outside threat, had 23 points, went 5 for 9 from 3.
It's amazing.
He did his thing like he's supposed to. Ben Simmons did not. He had 1 point, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. The 7 and 5 sounds good, but if you have 1 point,
come on now.
I need you to have 13 and 11, something like that to affect.
He could have easily had an easy triple double if he would have gotten at least a couple, jump shots here and there, which is not that bad at all.
Yeah, he's not really a shooter, and that's really what's hurting him. They're switching. Al Horford's doing an excellent job after they switch of not fouling, not allowing him to get to the rim for easy layups. They're staying home on shooters, which is really hurting his game because what he wants to do is get in that lane and pass and find an open guy. And when that's not there and Al Horford's not allowing layups, he doesn't have a jump shot, and he's missing that right now. So this summer, that's what, at least a 15-footer and a little jump shot floater, he's got to develop.
That's what he has to work on.
Yeah. Jason Tatum, for another game, had 20-plus points. He had 21. Terry Rozier almost had another triple-double with 20 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. He just played absolutely fantastic ball.
I think the Celtics, won the draft with this pick.
Yeah, they definitely did. They've had some fantastic drafts, and their front office has been absolutely fantastic. We go on to the second game. Cleveland beat Toronto. I don't quite know what's going on with LeBron. He's part alien. He looked really tired after that 7-game series versus Indiana. He looked extremely tired after that tough game against Toronto in the first game.
I don't know. I think LeBron is looking for a multi-contract here.
He must have had an IV, some vitamins, the hyperbolic chamber, everything. He did whatever it took to get rested, but he looked refreshed and ready to go. He gave you 43 points, 14 assists, 8 rebounds, and a dominant performance. 14 assists is actually ties a career high for playoff assists. So LeBron is great, but you also got to give credit to the team as well. Kevin Love stepping up to the plate. Yeah, definitely. 31 points, 11 rebounds. Like Kevin Love being exactly what they wanted Kevin Love to be when they got him over and formed that big three. Yeah. For Toronto, DeMar DeRozan had 24 points. Kyle Lowry had 21 points, 8 assists. They played good games. They just need to do more as the number 1 seed to beat this team?
I don't know. I just think, DeMar and Kyle, they're really good, but they need help.
They do.
Hopefully
they can go back to Cleveland. They're up 2-0, and same thing with Philly. Split at least a game, and then you gotta do something. I think Philly can turn the series around. I think right now, if something huge doesn't shake up, Cleveland's coming out of this, and Toronto's going home wishing for another year.
And that would be heartbreaking again for the Toronto Raptors. Being the number 1 seed and getting upset, by literally a LeBron team, because it was a LeBron show yesterday in Toronto.
LeBron's beat them eight consecutive games, so I think 5 of them have been in Toronto. So that's pretty hard.
They just need to win to tie the series up. That's all they need to do.
So we go on to Florida colleges. We want to talk to you about just real quick for a little bit. We always want to keep people invested and involved in the state of Florida, but the universities, the local area schools. So we'll go with UF, who in my opinion, that's my favorite school. It was growing up. Their softball program right now is number 4 in the country.
Yeah.
They're 44-8, 17-4 in the SEC, which is absolutely fantastic. They're about to win the regular season SEC championship. They're up 2 games with 3 games to go. So hopefully, without some catastrophic happening, they'll get a SEC championship. So kudos to them.
No, for baseball though.
Yeah. Baseball, they're number 1 in the country, 36-10, 15-5 in the SEC. They have another top 25 matchup tonight. It's actually a top 20 matchup against Texas A&M.
That's tonight.
Yeah.
7:30.
So that'll be a really good game to catch if you can. We try to cover all the games and catch all the games. I'll definitely try to watch this. Moving on to UF's rival. I wasn't a huge fan of Florida State growing up. I got to play there a few times and, had some success against them. They had some definitely terrible failures. But their softball team right now is ranked number 11. In the country at 41-10, 18-3 in the ACC, and they're a great team. Clearly, Florida's doing something well in softball.
Of course,
they got the number 4 and number 11 in the country, so that's huge.
There's a lot of good colleges in the United States, and not only that, being ranked top 10 is a great accomplishment for the coaching staff and for the team. So, congrats to them. Kudos.
Now the big part about today, again, I had to stress how much I wasn't a big Florida State fan, but when you're great, you're great. Florida State baseball, they're currently 31-14, so they're ranked I want to say like 16th or something. Yeah. But their coach Mike Martin is 1 win away from
NCAA all-time
taking over the all-time record. He's tied right now for first at 1,965 wins. His next win will put him at 1,966.
And this is a huge deal, not only history for college baseball, but for the school itself.
Definitely.
This was something that was established back in 1966, and it's finally going to be broken. And I'm surprised it actually took this long for this team to break that rule, or not that rule, but that record itself that they had.
And Coach Martin has been at Florida State his entire career, every single one of those 1,965 wins. And
he's been there through failures, through wins.
They have a game Saturday, May 5th at Clemson. So, hopefully after that game.
Win. I called it.
I don't like, the only thing I don't like is that it's at Clemson. If you set a record,
it has to be in your home.
You want that for him. He gets the crowd, hopefully all his family, the administration.
But then when he comes back to FSU, he'll still get that standing ovation.
And our final school right now is UM. Learned something new today. UM does not actually have a softball team. So looking for them and kind of what they're doing. They're thinking about bringing in a softball team. So, that's more scholarships for girls, for local area girls to be able to go play.
A lot of baseball, softball been playing in Miami. And imagine, a local girl's dream is since there's no professional softball
at the University of Miami. So, they could probably get some good recruits. But their baseball team, they're actually having a down year. They have the most national championships out of our 3 major state schools in baseball. They're currently 18-25, 11-13 in the ACC. So struggling. But, hopefully next year they'll have a better year.
Every year is a new year. So
a little ending note, USF, Stetson, Jacksonville, FAU, and UCF all received votes to join the coaches' top 25 poll. They were among, I want to say it was like 15 or 20 schools that received votes. So you see the talent, all around, and that's baseball, the top 25 poll for baseball. So you see the talent that Florida has in our college.
And it's pretty good. I'm glad actually UCF was actually brought up and mentioned in this because when you talk about Florida, all that pops up into your head is UF, FSU, FAU, Miami, and Orlando having UCF does not get a lot of recognition because UCF also has a lot of talent. And one thing, I know we're skipping out of baseball, but they did beat I think it was Auburn for the UCF versus UCF at home for the football title. And a lot of people are like, they're not in the same division, it's not ranked, etc. A game is a game and a win is a win. So congrats to all the coaches at UCF.
I am one of those people who say, like, you can't claim that national championship. You had a great undefeated season, but Boise State had a couple undefeated seasons. There are schools that had those. You weren't in the playoffs. Everybody, they agreed on a system. The system is the college football playoffs. They didn't put you in it. You didn't win it. So
then put them in it because they deserve to be in it, and they'll win again.
We thank you for tuning in. Anybody, student athlete that wants to get featured on our show, please send us any videos to videos@myGSPN.com.
And again, we just want to thank our sponsors. So this is brought to you by GardenGrocery.com. Again, if you're in the World Disney area, coming on vacation, you can order whatever you want, snacks, drinks, or even that nice family dinner that you want to cook at home. Order at GardenGrocery.com, and everything will be delivered at your arrival and your resort. Again?
For all student athletes, we encourage you to go to myGSPN.com, create a student player profile, go to social media, follow us on all our social media so we can get interacting with you, send us DMs, any type of messages, send us memes. We don't really care. Just allow us to interact with you so we can grow with you, help you get recruited and discovered. We'll be back Monday with more news, highlights, and updates. So hopefully we'll see you there.
Thanks for watching.